Hello and welcome to the Marine Conservation Happy Hour YouTube special with myself, Dr. Kraken, and I. Hi, Dr. Kraken.
How you doing?
You look like an explorer. Are you feeling like Indiana Jones today?
I feel like we're going to Costa Rica, like one of our old field trips with a Panama hats and a green t-shirt. And
I do. And you have a friend with you.
Yeah, say hello to my little friend.
Excellent. Well, we're going to need your little friend. Dr. Kraken, you and I love to talk about topics that no one wants to talk about. No one.
Yes, we need to tell the emperor's got no clothes.
All the time. All the time. Well, Dr. Kraken, everyone is in our field, the marine conservation field, the environmental field. I mean, I feel like it's an entire all science field, and everywhere around the world now. It's like diversity, inclusion, diversity, inclusion, diversity, inclusion. And we see some progress with diversity inclusion. Mm-hmm. We have done a podcast that will be coming out soon about it, some of our thoughts. However, this is going to be a special little episode. Our video will be on, guess what? No matter what we try to do, our diversity and inclusion for this field, the marine conservation and environmental field, is going to fail no matter what. Unless we focus on our children that are in poorer areas and that don't have as much opportunity. And these are usually more diverse areas. And we're not inclusive, Dr. Kraken. Let's put it that way. This field is not inclusive at all. I do not care if we start like hiring more diversity in our organizations, in our businesses, and accepting more diversity in our school, like in colleges. There's still an issue with this, Dr. Kraken. And the issue is those children that were never given that opportunity or that education are not going to be able to apply for these jobs, and they're not going to be applying for colleges, and they're not going to be those few diverse individuals that we're accepting to be inclusive, right? It's not going to work unless these organizations, these businesses, our fields start going out and giving money and programs and time and effort to low-income children and children that are just not going to ever get this type of opportunity.
Absolutely. There needs to be a lot more targeted education to schools in inner cities, into poor areas. And this includes like poor areas in places like West Virginia as well, mining towns and things like that. Everywhere. And when we see, I mean, we often see, and we've complained about it over a few drinks, certain aquariums saying things like, oh, if it wasn't for the aquariums, kids wouldn't be able to see the marine environment. Well, I mean, we're basically talking about SeaWorld here, which is in a location on the coast anyway. It's in San Diego, it's in San Antonio, it's Florida. I mean, you can just go across the road and you can see marine life in San Diego. You don't need to go to the aquarium to see marine life. You can just, in fact, there's a whale watching boat literally across the road for way cheaper, $25. You can go out on a trip there, as opposed to what, $120, $150 plus all the expensive drinks and foods and snacks. It's not something that you can do unless you're wealthy.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's face it. It's a for-profit business. And we need something that is going to these communities sort of directly. So some sort of outreach that goes to underprivileged schools
Absolutely.
directly to provide contents. And we don't want something that we hand out to teachers,
No,
because the teachers are already stressed.
no.
They had to go through all these tests and all this additional material, and they're struggling to help
Maybe
get these kids
a
the
scientist aid for a month that is just going to be focusing on science outreach, and they're going to focus on topics that are whales and dolphins or pollution or climate change and stuff like that, and they can be a part of the science teaching for that month.
Yes, instead of having parachute scientists parachuting into developing countries or sort of beaming down and doing their science and then beaming out again, let's change the term parachute scientist. So a parachute scientist is a scientist who will come to one of these schools, parachute in, and have a whole range of educational activities that they can do that links to the curriculum, that helps the kids with their tests, helps get them infused, and takes the pressure off teachers. So the teachers can basically go, oh, thank God, I can catch up on all my paperwork while this parachute scientist comes in and helps me with science classes. And do it early.
I agree. And we need to get real. Like, a lot of these organizations do target rich or wealthy kids, wealthy areas. And I get it. I totally get it, because, there's a lot of enthusiastic kids that are like, they're really young and they're like, I know what I want to do, mommy and daddy. I want to be a dolphin biologist, or I want to be a whale biologist, or whatever it is, right? But they had an upbringing where their parents either went to college themselves, know what to do, know how to groom this child to help them get that career that they want. I get it. Then these organizations go to schools that, to these kids that are like, me. I'm the one that goes to all the museums, and I'm the one that has all these books, and my mommy helps me with this, my daddy helps me with that. And it's easier to get these children that are already enthusiastic, know what they want to do, and already educated, and they are ready to be a part of whatever program these organizations are giving.
And the teachers have the time and the resources to connect with these groups.
Resources.
And absolutely. So they're able to connect. I see a lot of these events where it's pretty much the same sort of demographic, where it's kids coming from privileged, they're private or well-funded schools in nice areas, and they're the ones that are appearing in all these special ocean science events. And for many of them, it's just like the ocean science camp is just like another thing alongside their piano lessons, and their robots camp, and their various other activities. And you ask them, well, what do you want to do? Well, I want to be a neuroscientist, or I want to be a blah blah blah, and this will look, and their parents are already telling them that this will look good on their resume to getting into Harvard or Stanford. But we want to go to the kids which, their future is not like that. It's not already mapped out for them. They don't have after school classes on every single day.
And that's crucial. So this is what we need in every organization that is dealing with, or any business that's dealing with marine mammal science or environmental science, earth science, whatever, as long as it's involved in science and the planet. Okay, please put in your diversity and inclusion committee someone that knows what it's like to not have that type of privileged upbringing, because then you will not have the right input, because you need to understand that everyone will gravitate towards what they're used to. So scientists, individuals will go to these schools and feel for these children that have the same compassion, because they can relate. Oh, I was that kid. I understand their language. I understand what they're doing, da, 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 da. And then there's this connection. Must have someone that understands and has a different background than this very privileged life. Okay.
Yes, there's a difference.
Because
there's a difference as well between, sort of ethnic diversity and privilege. I was talking to someone just the other day who came from a non-white background, but mummy and daddy were both university professors. Their brothers and sisters are like lawyers, doctors, or, computer science millionaires. That's a very different background.
And that's where this is where I get kind of excited, Dr. Crockett. Get the right person on your diversity and inclusion committees. And this is what I want to say too. Have compassion, because I know from personal experience that when you go to schools with children that have a rough, hard life, they are going to be rough and a little bit hard. Okay. Their language is going to be rough and a little bit hard.
It's going to be harder to get their attention as well. It's
that too, but it's just in general, some scientists will have a harder time relating because these children are growing up at a faster rate because they have to worry about food. And if their parents are coming home and their parents are always working multiple jobs, father or mother is in jail. I mean, their lifestyle and their life and everything is a little bit more rough. Okay. They're not going to be little Miss Sweet, you know what I mean? And they are sweet, right? But they're just going to be talking to you like they have been in a very rough area, and they have to have this hardcore shell and to make sure that they are protecting themselves. And compassion. I know that it'll be difficult relate to these children, but it eventually will happen. Education, another thing. Do not try to give money to or a program to kids with that, and the way that they have to apply for that is a written essay. No, not for these children, because again, these are kids that are at schools that don't even have books. They can't, it's hard. The teachers are the ones that bring in the supplies. They don't have real textbooks. They don't have any of that kind of stuff. So you don't know what kind of level they're at in their education. Does not mean that you should give up on these children. It just means they were given, the worst situation as a kid, and they're doing the best that they possibly can. Go ahead.
And for the teachers as well, an application for one of these grants or programs, don't give them like a 20-page application form. No. which they have to look up and they have to search for. You really have to be more proactive, identifying the schools, going to the schools directly, getting the details directly from the teachers and helping them to fill in these forms. They don't have the time, energy, or resources to deal with this on top of everything else. So a lot of these education programs are cash limited.
Yes.
And so you can see why they go for the sort of easy solution. We'll just stick up a website, and then
you're not diverse and inclusive. That's it. Absolutely. You're never going to be. You will never be. That's it. You're going to be failures. And I'm going to say that to everyone. You're a failure because if you're not going to be reaching out to these children, then that's it. You're not diverse. You're not inclusive, because those kids, if they never got that opportunity to spark their interest, and maybe there's a program that they can continue on through the rest of their primary school days. That's what we need. We need to be focusing on this type of mentorship for these kids. And again, like I'm saying, do something different. Drawings, have a teacher do a video of interviewing each of the kids and have them do a drawing instead of a written, application or something like that. Let's get creative. Let's be more compassionate about the situation, because I I felt this yesterday, Dr. Kraken, and I was literally sitting on the couch really, really sad because I was like, we need a bigger discussion. If we don't fix this situation, we're failing. We're failing. Okay. And what can we do? What can we do? And that was why I felt like we had to get on this rant.
And a lot of these materials are written also by white privileged people. So, you know, in terms of understanding the culture of these kids too, there's just no sort of relation when they're talking about, you know, when you're eating your quinoa in the evening, blah, 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 blah. It needs to relate there. So much of these education programs are very, very passive.
I
They
agree.
produce it, they expect people to come there. There needs to be a lot more investment in terms of active going to where these kids are, and also researching and finding out what works with these kids to motivate them, and what works for
Their
white privileged
teachers will
kids
know
doesn't
that.
necessarily.
Talk to their
absolutely.
teacher. Their teacher totally understands them and knows what they're interested in. And again, I'm really glad that we're discussing this, because we're losing out on our diversity and inclusion, and just who knows who could have saved the world, been part of the team to save the world. We're losing them because we didn't even give them an opportunity.
Absolutely. They talk about the sort of missing millions, and this is one way of engaging with the missing millions, trying to get to these kids early on, and really targeting these underrepresented communities, rather than going, I have built it, they will come.
Well, we're going to continue this rant, Dr. Kraken. We'll continue this rant, and hopefully maybe we'll find some organizations I'm not a part of any organizations really, that will listen to us and start doing something like this, and change their perspective and, you know, their target.
Yes, this gets my seal of approval.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Dr. Kraken, thank you so much for joining me. And for everyone, thank you so much for joining us on our YouTube special videos. Please subscribe, please like, please share so we can continue doing more content. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.